Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Kini News. Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad today confirmed that he was the one who asked former Education Minister Maszlee Malik to resign from the federal cabinet. But he added that not everything that Maszlee did was wrong. Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad confirmed today that he had asked for Maszlee Malik to resign from the cabinet.
I'm not saying that he does everything wrong. There are some of the things that he does which is right. But because of these other reasons, I felt that it is necessary for him to resign. And he agreed, and so he resigned.
Mahathir also confirmed writing a letter to Maszlee with the reasons on why he needed to resign. He said the letter was made public by irresponsible people. It was previously reported that a letter purportedly written by Mahathir to Maszlee had revealed that the latter was asked to quit because he had failed to heed cabinet directives and often put Putrajaya in a difficult position. Maszlee had announced his resignation last Thursday during a special media conference in Putrajaya. Dr Mahathir was also asked on whether it is now the time for Muslims to unite following the United States killing of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani. This was how he replied. Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad said that Muslim countries should unite to protect themselves against external threats. He said this in response to a question on whether the time is right for Muslim countries to come together following the US killing of an Iranian military commander, Qasem Soleimani.
Well, the time is right for Muslim countries to come together, but although it is right, it's not yet together. And we find that such action can be taken by this very powerful gentleman against the laws of his country, against the laws of the world. And at this moment, we can do nothing about it.
Mahathir said, quote, "We are no longer safe now. If anybody insults or says something that somebody doesn't like, it is all right for that person from another country to send a drone and perhaps have a shot at me." Soleimani's killing in Baghdad last Friday has sparked fears of a broader conflict in the Middle East. Mahathir also said that it would lead to an escalation in, quote, what is called terrorism. Moving over to the latest battleground in by-elections over in Kimanis last night, BN urged voters to accept handouts from their rival party Warisan, but was told not to vote for the party's candidate in the upcoming by-election. At a ceramah in Kimanis last night, Sabah UMNO Chief Bung Mokhtar Radin told voters to accept cash handouts from rival party Warisan but not to vote for the party's candidate in the upcoming by-election.
Dia bagi macam-macam, dia sedengar dia mau bagi duit, ambil. Dia bagi apa? Ambil. Kalau tidak bagi pun minta. Minta. Jangan peduli. Dia pemerintah, dia banyak duit. Tapi undi jangan bagi. Dia tidak nampak undi kita.
Bung said that if people want to reject Warisan, money will not be able to stop it. He said the Kimanis by-election was a time to teach Warisan a lesson and get rid of a cruel government. Yesterday, Warisan President and Sabah Chief Minister Muhammad Shafi Abdul was accused of bribing voters with cash after an image of him handing out 50 ringgit notes was spread on social media. Shafi later clarified that the image was of him handing out alms to the poor at a mosque in Sandakan and not at Kimanis. The enforcement of the ban on smoking at eateries began on the 1st of January this year. With the ban in place, Health Minister Dr Zulkifli Ahmad has called on non-smokers to speak out for their right to a smoke-free environment. Speak out! Speak out! Health Minister Dr Zulkifli Ahmad launched the Speak Out Express Your Right campaign at the Kuala Lumpur KTM station today. He said the campaign was to empower non-smokers to stand up for their rights to speak out for a smoke-free environment, which included telling smokers not to smoke in prohibited areas in a civilized manner. He said that a total of 21,617 compounds have been given out since the enforcement on the smoking ban at eateries started on the 1st of January. At a different event today, Housing and Local Government Minister Zuraida Kamaruddin said that eateries who are concerned about the smoking ban affecting business are encouraged to set up designated smoking areas.
Yeah, he said to satisfy the smokers, to show that the government is concerned about their plight, the government is concerned about their needs. So this is a transition period. So we provide that facility so that they would be more willing to accept this policy of no smoking at the eateries.
She said that they would require approval from the local council that will provide the guidelines for the smoking areas, and it could only be built 3 meters from their premises. Inspector General of Police Abdul Hamid has urged politicians not to raise the political climate in the country with racial and religious issues that can undermine the country's harmony. Inspector General of Police Abdul Hamid has urged politicians not to play up issues involving religious and ethnic sensitivities. At a press conference yesterday, he said that they should not stir racial and religious issues that can undermine the country's harmony and should instead focus on amicable solutions. Abdul Hamid added that while some people may view that the police were silent on issues of race and religion, in actuality investigation papers have been opened. He went on to say that the playing of racial and religious issues takes a toll on police resources. He said if such issues were not played up, police resources could be deployed on more serious issues such as dealing with crimes and drug-related cases. Now we move on to international news. Australian firefighters used a second-day break from the searing temperatures on Tuesday to strengthen containment lines around wildfires and to prepare for the expected return of heat and wind later this week that is expected to fan existing blazes and even spark new ones. A second day of cooler weather on Tuesday allowed for firefighters in Australia to strengthen containment lines around almost 200 wildfires burning in the country. Officials seized the moment to step up evacuations as roads which were once blocked were reopened. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who has been criticised for his handling of the crisis, pledged a further $2 billion Australian dollars to a newly created National Bushfire Recovery Agency to help rebuild.
The Commonwealth is committing an initial $2 billion over the next 2 calendar years, starting right now, to support all of the efforts of recovery right across the country. This is not just in those areas that are experiencing fires now. They are in those areas that have already experienced fires, particularly up in Queensland and northern New South Wales.
The Insurance Council of Australia increased its estimate for damages claims from the fires to more than 700 million Australian dollars on Tuesday, with claims expected to jump further when more of the fire-hit areas are accessible. Thousands of people have been left homeless, while many in rural towns having spent days without electricity, telecommunications and in some cases drinking water. Military coordinated rescue and support efforts are still ongoing. On the ground, firefighters are working to get as much control over the huge blazes as possible before forecast high temperatures and winds returned later in the week. Now moving over to India, an officer said on Monday that police are investigating how a group of masked men burst into a premier university and attacked a student protest using sticks and rods. This is the latest incident to ignite criticism of India's ruling Hindu nationalists. Police hit students during a protest at a university in Kolkata, India on Monday. The protest was over an attack during a protest at another university in Delhi on Sunday. New Delhi police said that they are investigating the incident, which saw masked men burst into Jawaharlal Nehru University or JNU and attack student protesters with sticks and rods. Sunday's attack at a university long seen as a bastion of left-wing politics comes as students nationwide lead a campaign against a citizenship law introduced last month by Prime Minister Narendra Modi that is seen as discriminatory against Muslims. Students and some faculty of JNU have blamed the incident that injured at least 30 people on a students' union tied to Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party that has increasingly picked on the institution. Students put out pictures of mobs entering university residential halls, their faces covered with cloth, carrying sticks and even sledgehammers. Some shouted slogans threatening death for traitors. They said the police failed to act, leaving them at the mercy of the mob. More demonstrations were planned across India on Monday, prompted by the university attack.
Violence in universities.
Before we wrap up, here are some other news highlights from today. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for today. For more, you can log on to KiniTV.com. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook and Daily Motion for the latest news updates. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching.